So of the three starting frames, I think Mag has the highest bar of entry. Volt's pretty easy, he's the funny fast frame. Excalibur is the poster boy of the entire franchise currently, obviously. He got three different versions if you count his Prime and Umbra. But Mag is one of those frames that you have to, like, understand the game somewhat in order to really know what is going on. So that being said, I'm going to talk about her for obvious reasons. First off, Mag is absolutely nuts. With any puncture through weapon, the Lunk is one of her best examples. You can kind of just destroy every enemy in the game. This is mainly due to the fact that the Lunka has infinite punch through, meaning you just kind of crush everything. I run Nourish on her because I love spamming buttons. And Nourish gives that viral proc that I don't run on the Lanka. There's also, obviously, this is pre-nerf Nourish, where I used to spam the button a lot. She's insane. Straight up, probably not like the best frame because there's a lot of her good parts. First off, 14 mil. A lot of her good parts are locked behind knowing how to play the game, like really well. You can argue that, well, I learned how to play her when I started playing the game, and it was like, yeah, you're probably miserable too, so smile. I wouldn't know that. I picked Excal as my first character. He's still my most played, and I'll prove that right now. Even though I don't play him anymore. I haven't touched him in years. Like, actually years. 11%. And yeah, I've tried. I've tried to get him out of there. But it does not happen. So, what makes Mag so good? First off, Magnetize. Creates a bubble where enemies literally can't shoot you outside of. Pull, which I'm not going to use because they are already in the Magnetized bubble, allows her to literally pull enemies towards her. It got buffed, so instead of just flinging them past you, it pulls them in front of you. It's a little pull. It also pulls Polarized shards. I don't use Polarized. I think Polarized is kind of, like, egregious. Mainly because it does, like, a set amount of damage to armor, not an actual, like, percentage of it. So it's kind of, I don't even know what was I doing here. I think this was me trying to make it work. It's just not really that good. Obviously, you can run a really good range build, which Primed Continuity, Primed Flow, Augur Reach, Stretch, Overextended, Intensify, Streamline, Equilibrium. This allows her to pull from 66 meters. Magnetized bubbles are absolutely gigantic. It is a 10 meter radius, extremely high blast radius as well. Polarize, again, I don't really use, so it's okay here. It's pretty good for shutting down shields, though, so if you're up against Corpus, Polarize is typically there for that. Crush with a 47 meter radius, however, I do not have the actual build on this one, which is Magnetized Crush. Magnetized Crush is or Fracturing Crust, sorry. There's Magnetized Discharge, which is another thing I will talk about in a second. Fracturing Crush increases Crush's casting speed by 50%, and the armor of surviving enemies decreases by 75%. They are not able to move for 7 seconds. This also does not count the fact that this armor strip, as well as a baiting link from Trinity, scales with strength, meaning you easily hit 100%. Armor stripping, like shutting shields down because it's magnetic damage, and staggering them for, with this build, 8.5 seconds. Magnetized Discharge is really good because it disarms enemies. So if, for example, you're being shot at and you don't want to, well, first off, bubble them, duh, and then detonate it. As it will also, if you don't have a Hound with the disarm property, which, why not? It's one of the best in the game. Unless he's an idiot and does that. You will easily just do that. As well as the fact that since you're gathering every... This is kind of embarrassing. Okay. Since you're gathering every enemy up, any priming weapons, i.e. the best one in the game that you should get through Railjacks, just coats them. Just coat them in a bunch of effects and then just... yeah, just destroy them. Obviously, Magnetized Discharge is super good because it increases the range of the magnetized bubble. You don't usually What's going on? You don't typically use it for like the disarm property. You use it because it increases the range by 45%, making it absolutely gigantic, able to grab a ton of enemies and hold choke points, that kind of thing. Again, a lot of weapons work very well with her. For example, the Lanka is like the classic example, but even things like where is it? The Dread, because the Dread has infinite punch through as well. You can bubble and then shoot him. And then, if you have the Incarnon, which I do, absolutely shreds. Split Frights is a Split Frights. Oh my god! Yeah, also be careful because you can lag your game. Like this. My FPS has dropped to 47. Super good. However, maybe you're on a little bit of a budget and you don't have it. Or maybe you're just kind of blazing through the story. Nadaruk is probably one of the best weapons in the game. Mainly because it's extremely strong, has extremely high critical chances, and has the perfect shot mechanic, which, yeah, it's weighted for puncture, but it's also weighted for slash with an 180% critical chance and a 6.7. The reason we get this is we're running Galvi Chamber, or you can use Split Chamber. I don't judge. Shred, Hunter Munitions, Vigilante Armaments, Critical Delay, Hammer Shot, Vital Sense, Serration, and Primary Deadhead, just for that little extra whipped cream. The reason this works is, again, it is another weapon with infinite punch through. You'll notice a pattern here. And then we perfect shot. And it will linger in there. And yeah. Drop our frames real quick. Love it. That tasty. I'm going to put a epilepsy warning at the beginning of this video. It's super good. Mag is probably one of my favorite frames in the game. I played a lot of her. Hell, you can even melee build. This is because, again, with Epitaph, one of the best priming weapons of the game, you just kind of do that, and then you just, if it'll let me, I cannot melee attack. Weird. I can't melee. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, it's super good for melee as well, because you can just yoink enemies towards you. Obviously, greedy pull is a thing. It used to be used a lot with, I think, Limbo. Limbo used to greedy pull a lot because it would pull stuff to you, and since you're in Cataclysm, you don't want to leave it, that kind of thing. Her augments are all pretty good, though. Unironically, she's one of the best frames for augments, mainly because they're not even band-aids, they're just straight fixes, and that's always very welcome. So yeah, Meg's super good, but she is a very high investment frame. You do have to understand kind of what you're doing, and even if you don't, it's very dependent on your weapon. Like, for example, Nadaruk, Dread, Lanka. The Exorgist is also good because it also has innate punch through. So if you want a decent status chance weapon that can really swamp an enemy, let's do some that. Yeah. I also would not, I know this seems very tempting, I would not recommend putting Zada's Whisper on her, because then it would create another condensed bubble inside of it, which doesn't really actually work and function very well with Magnetize itself. Mainly because Magnetize allows the bullets to fly in the general area really rapidly, so if you aim for the head or you hit a headshot, Magnetize can also keep re-proccing that. Zada's does not, however. So yeah, just absolutely destroys a lot of content. Super good, has armor strip, which crushes insanely strong. A very subsumable 3, allowing you to throw things like Roar on. Maybe Tempest Barrage got a really good buff with some of the Archon shards. Maybe throw that on there a little bit too, just a little cherry on top. Magnetize is super good. They can't shoot outside, obviously. Sometimes they can just walk out of it. But again, it's really good just cover. And if anything, if you're really not having a good time with your enemies, just grip them. Just grip them. It's alright. Obviously, you can grip them into the Magnetized bubble, which is one of my favorite pastimes. Because then they just rapidly take damage. Rip them through it, even. It's up to you. I don't understand why my PC is doing that. Yeah. Love this character. Love Mag. Love Mag. I'm very glad her Prime came back for a little while. Let me get the new fancy sparkly version of her. Yeah.